Hi, it's Chris Watkin here, and I'm joined by Katie Forrester, who set up her own estate agency just over a year ago. Thanks for joining me today,
Thank
Katie. I'd
you.
like to talk about your journey as an estate agent and why you set up your own agency. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Well, good stuff. So let's roll the clock back. Your first job out of school was a management trainee at a hotel and spa.
Yeah.
What made you want to go and do that then?
I just did hospitality management straight from A levels,
Okay,
and then did the degree in hospitality and licensed retail management,
okay.
and then started with the hotel. And it was just long hours, very little pay. Loved it.
What
Absolutely
made you
loved
want to
it.
go into hospitality, with uni?
My aunt had always had pubs and things like that, so I'd kind of been brought up in the hospitality world. So it just seemed a natural step from coming out of school and not really having I want to be a teacher or I want to be a vet or so it just seemed a nice transition.
So which uni did you go to?
Wolverhampton.
Wolverhampton, because you're from round there, aren't you?
I am.
Good stuff. So did you ever live on campus at
No,
anything?
I lived at home.
So you didn't necessarily get the full uni
No,
experience.
no. I did have a good university experience, but not the full living away from home.
Do you wish you'd have probably gone away?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It's something that I want for my kids to be able to go
Was it a
away.
conscious decision to get something local?
Yeah, and my mum was always a bit of a home bird, so which I think kind of kept me at home, whereas I want my kids to,
Fly the nose.
yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff. So you were there for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
When did you begin to see the light that the bright lights of a state agency could be for you?
I saw an advert in a paper, a
Okay.
newspaper,
Were
and
you
it
looking
was
for a job at this point?
no, not really. It was just I was just browsing as you do. I think I might have been on my break, and it was a tick list, and it was, are you confident? Are you outgoing? Are you this? Are you that? Do you like talking to people? And I thought I can do that.
Okay.
So I applied for it, and then I had an interview with Elliot Keane, who is countrywide. I think he might still be there now. And yeah, I got offered the job straight away.
This was in '03. What was the job?
It was just a sales negotiator
Good stuff.
in a Barrister's office in Acox Green.
Okay. So were you married or with someone?
No, got a partner, but not married.
Okay. Had your own house or
No, still at home.
still at home?
Yep.
And you think to yourself, I'll go and do that estate agency.
Yeah.
Can you remember your first day in the estate
I
agency?
can. I sold a house on my first day.
Okay.
Yep. I even remember the address.
And what did you in that first year? What did you love about estate agency?
Just been talking to people. I've always been a talker. It's one of my habits on my school reports, likes to chat. So it was always, just being out and about and not being tied to the desk and, the excitement of showing people around houses and just being able to help people kind of move. And that buzz is still there now.
So, '03 neg. When did you make valuer lister?
Probably 2005, 2006.
Oh, so pretty. You were
Yeah,
cracking on.
just before I got married.
Okay. And did you like listing?
No, not to start with, no.
Okay, so why were you like a lot of people? You kind of the lister's gone on holiday, so you're having to do it?
Yeah, you just move up the ladder a bit, don't you, in an office? But no, I didn't. No.
What didn't you like about it?
I think it was probably the pressure of sitting on somebody's sofa and selling what you do, and probably that rejection is probably the worst thing. Is walking away without that instruction and having to go back and kind of sit in your meeting the next day and say, I haven't got it on the market.
Okay, but there's a difference between not getting it on the market and seeing it on Rightmove.
Yeah.
Did that hurt even more when you saw it on Rightmove
Yeah.
with a competitor?
Yeah.
The fear of rejection is quite a big fear for an awful lot of estate agents, particularly. I mean, don't get me wrong, none of us like rejection, but the type of personality that is attracted to estate agents really finds rejection. You could put 100 houses on the market, but you lose 101, and it feels like they've ripped your heart from you and stamped on you and sent your soul to the devil.
Yeah.
Did you Does that still hurt as much today?
Yeah.
Is that a weakness?
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
Have you ever got better at it?
Yeah, I'm loads better at it.
But it still hurts.
Still hurts, yeah.
So it's not as if the hurt. It's not as if the hurt has changed. It's your way of dealing.
Yeah,
with it.
it doesn't last as long.
So how long does it last now?
Probably an hour or so.
And how long did it used to last?
Probably a week.
Do you think it made you a better estate agent because of that fear?
I think it shows that I care.
Okay, that's not the question I asked. Did it make you a better or worse estate agent because
Probably worse. Probably worse compared to how I deal with it now.
Do you think you could still get better at it?
Yeah.
And are you doing anything to try and get better at it?
Yes.
What's that then?
So I get a lot of support from David Lee that I'm working with at the moment.
Okay.
I get support from Steph, who I speak to through agency together.
Yeah, agents together. Yeah.
So I've got people that I can call upon.
What just to share with the boys and girls out there in estate agency land, what do you do to lessen the pain?
Try and focus on something else. So obviously a lot of plates to spin in the estate agency world.
Do you think you take it too personally?
Sometimes.
Okay, so let's come back to you as an estate agent. When did you make branch manager?
So I didn't make branch manager till after I'd had the kids and they were both at full-time school.
So did you have time out or
Just the 9 months, and then I just went back part-time, had the second one, went back part-time.
Still negging, bit of value in?
Bit of negging, bit of value in, yeah.
Okay, so when did the kids go fully back to school then?
I went back full-time in 2016.
2016. So how many years were you out of being a branch manager? This part-time mother neg. Was this
between 2008 and 2016.
So you missed out. No, he didn't miss out, but did you feel like you were treading water?
Yeah.
Do you wish you could have done a bit more, or did you have the mother guilt? And yes, if you were a man, I wouldn't ask you that question.
I think I had a bit of both.
Okay.
I think that mother guilt had kick in.
Okay.
And a lot of treading water.
In terms of the mum guilt, which again, I've spoken to an awful lot of women on this sofa. Have you got better at that?
Yes.
And how have you dealt with that one?
The new way that I'm working has massively helped.
Okay, so let's roll the clock back and you were made redundant in 2019 as branch manager.
Yeah.
What happened there?
It was just a round of office closures, and there was no other branch manager position for me to go into.
Because there was countrywide were making a few. They were doing it surreptitiously, weren't they? They weren't shouting about it, were they?
No,
no. Just all of a sudden
It just happened. Yeah.
How did it? You've been with them 15 years, 16 years. How did they treat you well?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, they tried everything to keep me in a position, and various offices and positions were offered, but nothing was going to work with
the kids.
With the kids' location, position.
So you took redundancy.
Yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Sick.
Okay. Expand a bit more on that.
I'd been in the job for 16 years. You kind of think your seat's safe when you've worked for somebody for that long. Same regional manager I've worked with all those years. So it was a bit heart-wrenching.
But you could have taken another job. Was the family more important than the job?
It was a few bits with the with the job why I didn't do it.
And what did your husband say?
Told me not to panic, because he knows that I tend to have a habit of doing things like that. And he just said that, I'll walk into another job, just start looking.
But did it knock your confidence for 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you get another job?
Yeah.
Who's that with?
But as John B.
Okay. At the time, a decent regional player?
Yeah.
Okay, I know subsequently they've been bought out by...
Yeah.
Was it Hart or...
Yeah, Hart, yeah.
Okay. So you how was that one? How did that go then?
So it was an office that had been left a little bit to run itself. You know, they'd not had
Had you joined Butters John Bean before Hart had bought you or afterwards?
after.
Okay.
Yeah, I was employed by Hart.
Okay. How was your first few months there? So this is the summer of 19.
Yes.
How was that? Was that good?
It was good. It was a challenge. It was a branch that needed some work. So it was a challenge, and you know, it was. I was flattered to have been given that opportunity to show what I could do.
Did it instill the confidence back in yourself?
Yeah, massively. Yeah.
Okay. And how was the rest of 19? Was it
Yeah, it was all right. It was going in the right direction. We were, you know, starting to get momentum with the listings in and the instructions coming through. The sales were following. It was.
Do you think you could have seen yourself still there? Forget what happened. Forget what happened with COVID.
Yeah.
I'm asking you, in that autumn or winter of 2019, could you see yourself being there almost for another 15 years, like you were at Countrywide?
Yeah. Yeah, I was enjoying the challenge.
And did you have any inclination of wanting to start your own agency at that point?
No.
It wasn't even on the radar.
Never even thought about it.
Why not? Or it just wasn't even an option.
No, it was obviously the Purple Bricks of the world. You know, those self-employed sort of models were out there. But no, I was more about the security with the basic salary.
Okay. COVID hit.
Yeah.
What happened then?
So, weeks leading up to COVID, there was lots of emails from Paul Smith about the plans, and you know, we were going out and videoing properties for video tours, and we were preparing to be closed down for what we imagined to be a few weeks. You know, I was still gearing the office up that, you know, we were still working as normal.
So this was March.
This was beginning of March, yeah.
This was beginning of March. We all went into lockdown, and basically you were getting some good communication saying, well, when we
was getting communication before we went into lockdown. And then on March the 20th, as we went into lockdown, I was emailed to be on a conference call at 6 o'clock.
Sorry, the plans to do video tours and things
Yeah,
like that?
we've been building up to that.
So this has nothing to do with COVID?
No, this was because COVID was around and we were expecting to be...
We were expecting to be a lockdown, weren't we? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was talk, lots of rumours.
So nice and plans.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were on this conference call.
Yeah. So everybody had left the office. I was on my own, and I was on a conference call that was done from a script. Can't answer any questions. This is as it is.
Who gave you that conference call?
The regional manager.
Who else was on that conference call?
Another 20 odd of us in our region.
Okay. Were you able to talk to each other?
No.
Did they say you were allowed to talk to people?
No, you couldn't speak to anybody. You couldn't answer any questions.
Did you know who the other 20 were?
No.
I
found it out recently, but there were two of us in my office.
Okay.
The one girl was on holiday and I was in the branch.
What was said on that conference call?
Basically, you know, you can't answer any questions, but due to uncertainty, blah, 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 leave your office keys and your car keys and go.
So was this your direct manager or the one above?
My direct manager.
How did that make you feel?
I sobbed.
Okay, so we've got two issues here. One is the news itself, which you've already experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think being made redundant the first time made it any better the second time?
No, not the way it was done this time, no.
Okay, no, but I'm talking about actually being made redundant. I'm not talking about the way it was done, which we're going to come on to in a second. Or was the fact, what hit home at the time? Was it the fact, oh my God, I'm being made redundant, or the faceless way it was done?
It was, oh my God, I'm being made redundant. Oh my God, the country's probably going to lock down. I'm not going to be able to get a job for however long.
Okay, so you're worried about your family and your...
Yeah.
Because you know, I know you've got your husband, but you have responsibility to bring home the pay. When did it hit home about the way it was done?
Probably a couple of days after.
Probably. So you rightly so. You were more concerned about yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, rightly so. But when did it hit home? You said, bloody hell.
It was probably the following week. I'd seen something on the news about people that, if you've been made redundant or you've been let go because of COVID, ask them to take you back on furlough. So I rang HR and they was just point blank refused to even discuss it. No decision's been made, nothing we can do about it. And that was when I kind of started speaking to people on LinkedIn. And I just thought how awful it was that it was done in that manner.
Okay, taking the fact it happened to you, how else could have they done that better?
I think, maybe...
In hindsight it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, in hindsight, just to pick up a phone call up from the, my direct manager that, I'd worked so closely with and respected. Just...
Did you try your area manager afterwards on a one?
No, I was a mess.
Do you know anyone that did try there?
No, I'm not aware of anybody.
Okay. Do you think they might have taken your call? And again, this
No.
is a supposition.
No, I don't think they would have done. It was a few weeks after when I got contact from...
They did contact you?
Yeah.
And how did that conversation go?
It wasn't a conversation, it was a text.
That said?
Sorry. Nothing I could do about it. I didn't know it was happening till it was too late.
Do you still speak to that person?
Not really, no.
Do you think that was genuine sorry?
I'd like to think so.
What would you like to say to that person? No, I'm not talking about the senior levels, and I have had senior people from Heart on this sofa. Everyone was panicking at that time. And, weren't they?
Yeah.
But this was to do with you, wasn't it?
Yeah. I just would have liked her to pick the phone up and just say that it wasn't personal, it wasn't about my performance, it wasn't about what I was doing or what I wasn't doing. It was just awful.
So in hindsight, you can realise why they did it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But just a phone call, even if it was afterwards, a couple of days later, saying...
Yeah, just pick the phone up and it would have been nice just to have said, it wasn't you. It wasn't decided because of what you were doing or not doing, because that's the way it made me feel for a long time, for a good few months.
So you went down to the bottom of the well. Mm-hmm. Dark place?
Very dark.
When did you get to the bottom?
Probably 2 or 3 weeks later.
Okay. And what was the first thing that enabled you to start coming back up the well?
A message from Russell Jervis.
Okay. Who was, my understanding, very senior at Heart, but that did leave.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay. What did that message say?
He just reached out, said that he was shocked that I'd been one of the ones that had been let go.
Okay.
And he was there if I needed him for anything.
Okay. So you reached out?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Just that he was as shocked as anybody. But, I was a good estate agent. There was definitely things that were out there for me.
And what was that?
So Russell and I spoke about a couple of options with working with Rayner Personnel, doing property recruitment consultancy, or David Lee.
But Russell's involved with both of those. Surely it was he was ringing you up to try and tout you for something, wasn't he?
Yeah, probably. Although I do have a lot of respect for Russell.
Okay.
And I did trust his judgment that it would be worth me speaking to Josh.
I mean you obviously made a big impression because you were only with Heart for literally 9 months.
Yeah.
So you must have.
I hope so.
Yeah, because he's quite a few. He was quite a few at the food chain. Okay. You decided to start your own estate agents.
Yes.
Under the David Lee banner.
Yes.
Were you scared?
Very.
Okay. What was going? What did your husband say?
He was completely 110% behind me, like he always is.
Okay.
Said that I could do it. that the only person that would stop me doing it would be myself. Told me to go for it. What's the worst that can happen?
But surely you were worried about failing. I mean, most people, it's either failing or lack of money.
I think for me, at the time, I hadn't got no income anyway. So it was one of those sink or swim moments. It was, give it a go. If it doesn't work out in 6 months, I'll start applying for other positions in offices.
Okay. And what about the fear of looking stupid in front of your friends?
I've got some really good friends, so that wouldn't have ever crossed my mind at all.
Was there ever a point where you, in the first 6 months, where you say, what the hell have I done this for?
There's been a few times, yeah.
What are those times?
When you lose an instruction. Obviously, when
it actually hits you, doesn't it?
Yeah, when you're self-employed, you haven't got that big back catalogue of failed vowels.
Well, you're still going to get your salary, aren't you?
Yeah, you're still getting your salary. You've still got your little warm office that you can go and sit in. It's you've got other people that are supporting that that listing role and the sales and the reductions, and so when you you haven't got a lot of appointments around you and you're only going out to 5 or 6 vowels a week and you lose one, it's it was that was a.
And how did you get those vowels?
So that was a lot of legwork from my end, so a lot of door knocking, a lot of networking.
Okay, but most values don't like door knocking because they're good at converting, but they're shit at getting the vowels.
Yeah, it was just something that I just needed to get over myself and go and do.
Okay. I don't want us to turn this into an advert for David Lee, because you're costing me money to be here, and if you think I'm advertising David Lee, you got another thing coming. But you've been self-employed now for 15 or 16 months.
Yeah.
What would you do differently if you had your time again?
With the self-employed?
Yes. I mean, look, let's be frank. You're at the bottom of the well. You'd have probably taken anything.
Yeah.
Okay. You probably wouldn't have made the move or even considered it.
No.
But you made the choice. You had the wonderful support of your husband, some great kids, and a thought leader in the likes of Russell Jervis, who basically there was some motivation there, but there's no harm in that.
Mm-hmm.
You made the choice. What would you do differently if you had your 15 or 16 months again?
I would probably not have started it in the middle of a global pandemic.
But that's what caused you to be
yeah,
there.
It did, yeah.
I want to talk about things that you would do differently.
I probably would have got over my fear of videos quicker, and the fear of rejection quicker.
Yep.
But I don't think I'd change anything, because I think it sort of made me grow into where I am at the moment.
Are you happier?
Yeah.
Why are you happier?
I'm happier because it's given me more time with the family.
Okay.
So although I do work 7 days a week, I don't really switch off my phone until 9 and 10 o'clock of the night. But it's allowed me to fit the job in around the kids. So rather than dragging my sensitive 8-9-year-old at the time to breakfast club or to friends or family to take him to school because I needed to get into an office for 8:30, we now don't have that mad school rush to get him out early. I get to walk him to school. The eldest takes herself off to school, so she's absolutely fine. So I do my appointments in that chunk of the day and my admin before he comes out from school. So some days I pick him up, some days my husband picks him up. It allows me to be able to drop them off at football clubs, swimming clubs, and be around for them. And then I go and do my appointments whilst they're doing their activities. And it's just such a refreshing way for me, because I've always been rushing around, not getting until 6 o'clock, doing tea, putting the kids to bed. It's always been a big mad rush, whereas now I've got more time in effect.
You're working harder though, aren't you? So
Yeah.
Put the hours in.
Yeah, you need to.
If I had your husband on the sofa, would he say that you're a happier
100%, yeah. And the kids will tell you the same.
Do you think there's plenty of people out there that are in an employed job just basically thinking they're happy, but in reality just being a miserable prat, and
Yeah.
the kids and the family know it.
Yeah. Or you see it on Facebook posts, you know, that they've worked till 7, 8 o'clock of an evening, you know, trying to just hit a target or get everything ready for cut off. And I just think it's just no way to be now on this side.
And if I asked you back in 5 years' time to the Watkin sofa, what would I hope to see?
I'd hope you'd see still happy Katie that's still thriving, hopefully growing the business some more, that I've got some staff to help keep growing it.
And is it all about the money?
No.
You're earning better,
Yeah.
but what is it about?
It's about doing things my way and not having that pressure of just putting a house on the market because you've got to hit a KPI for that month. It's about offering the customer more of my time rather than me having to try and deal with 40 vendors and 40 buyers and just doing bits of everything not so well. Whereas now, I don't really want any more than 5 or 6 houses on the market at any one time, because I'd rather be able to accompany all the viewings and have a really good relationship with the vendors and the buyers, and that's what I'm about at the moment. It's just the journey, the whole start to finish.
Katie, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
I hope you've been inspired by Katie's story. Just for the record, as with all Watkin Sofa Chats, Katie nor David Lee has paid any money or consideration to be there. It's just that, you know, I'm a huge fan of the self-employed estate agency model for the right people, and it's my job to interview people who I think are interesting for the estate agency industry. So thank you for your time today.
Thank
You've been
you.
an absolute star.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you very much.